Alright, what's going on, guys? My name is Nicholas Merton, and welcome to part 1 of my series on SQL and data analytics for beginners. Guys, I'm so happy to have you here today, and I'm ready to jump into it. But before we start downloading anything and start setting up our database and getting all the software we need, I need to make a few things clear. First off, we're going to be using a version of SQL called PostgreSQL. Yes, there are different types of SQL, but don't worry about it. I'm going to cover that in just a second. It's nothing to stress about. But what's nice is that it's free and it's open source, so the downloads are quick, efficient, and you don't have to pay anything, so that's really the awesome part about it. And then also, there's two main downloads. The links are in the description. I'll put the timestamp next to them when we start talking and covering it, so you know which order to download everything, and so nothing's stressful whatsoever. So anyways, guys, let me just go over real quick. Oh, excuse me. I got a good chart here that will show you a few of the different types of SQL and show you that there are variations of SQL. Now, it's nothing to stress about because practically all these versions of SQL share the same syntax, except for a few small statements and characteristics that make them vary. Now, we're not going to cover that in this course because this is a beginner's course, but the common ones you're going to see are the one we're using, PostgreSQL, MySQL, Microsoft SQL, and Oracle SQL. Those are probably the big ones you're going to see shared around a lot in the kind of corporate world. And it's good to understand these and their changes in syntax. And if you can do that, and you can write down on your resume or your job application that you understand these different types and you can aggregate to those different types, that's a definite standout in the workplace. That's a very good thing to have. And it's really not complicated to learn the extra ins and outs of them. And if someone requests that you learn a different type that you haven't learned, say, don't worry, I'll go learn it real quick. And you can pick it up just like the language of SQL very quickly. So anyways, moving on from that, let's start off with our first download. We're going to download the graphical interface we're going to use to manage our all of our information in. And this is what's known as pgadmin. Pgadmin is made by the team who made PostgreSQL, and it's a free open source software we can use to visualize all of our information and also streamline a lot of the processes. So it's really cool. Alright, so basically what you're going to do is either go to their homepage or go to the download link that I provided. It'll take you to this page, and you just download whatever various version you need. If you're on Mac OS, you can download the Mac OS version. I'm personally on Windows, so I'm going to be downloading the Windows version. Alright, and you're just going to go to the latest version. Now, a lot of people would tell you not to download the latest version. It depends on when they recorded their tutorial, because sometimes they can release a new version of pgadmin, and sometimes it's a little buggy at the start until they do updates on it. But this has been out since May 19th. I've used it, works fine, and we can move ahead with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and download version 1.5. And you're going to be taken to a page like this, and you're just going to want to download the exe file that corresponds with what's on the screen with whatever version you're downloading. All right, we're just going to let that download, and once that's done, I'll jump right back into the video with you guys. All right, guys, so when your download is complete, we're just going to go through the setup. It's relatively simple. It's nothing to stress about. Just going to click Next. You agree. And then also, I would recommend to download this in your C drive. It's just probably the best place to put it, and just let it create its own file. Alrighty, and we're just going to click install and let it run its process. It's a very simple way to set up pgadmin. So once this is done setting up, we'll move on to downloading PostgreSQL, the actual server we're going to be using on our software. Alright, guys, so our download is completed. It's going to automatically check to launch pgadmin 4. We're not going to do that just yet, so we're going to uncheck it. We have to download our PostgreSQL server, but we'll be back to it in just a moment and get started with this in a second. So basically, what you want to do is go to our second download link, which will bring you to a downloads page for the server. And you can select between Mac OS or Windows, depending on what operating system you're on. In my situation, I'm on Windows. And basically, you're going to look for the Certified by Enterprise DB download link. And this is the one right here. It should be the first one on the page, if I remember correctly, I think for both Mac and Windows. You're just going to go ahead and download that. And then you're going to get taken to a page where you're going to have to select your version, download the latest version, and then it should automatically select your operating system. I don't know why I didn't do it this time. Maybe I clicked too quick or something, but I'm just going to go ahead and download. And it should start a download in the bottom left corner of your browser. Give it a few minutes to download and open it up when it's ready. And when it's done downloading for me, I'll continue back with the tutorial and how to go through the installation process. Alright guys, once you've got the download done, we can start the setup. It's pretty simple and streamlined. I'll walk you through it though. The installation directory, just leave it as is. And for the data directory, leave it as is as well, but you probably will see something different than mine. Just understand it's because I've had to kind of go through some nooks and crannies because I've already downloaded it before, and there was some problems with reinstalling it and stuff. So I just have a new save file for the data directory. It won't affect you guys at all, and it's no different. For the password, this is something that will this is the password that will secure your server, so it makes it so only you can get into it. However, we're doing very simple stuff, so it doesn't have to be complex. We're not actually storing any important information for a company. Now, if you do run an actual server to manage databases, you do not want to have an easy password. But in this case, we're just messing around, so I'm going to make it simple and keep it with password. All right, and make sure to write this down. If it's something that's not simple, make sure to write it down and have it in a place where you can always obtain it. Okay. The port should be completely fine. Just leave it as is. And then leave this as default locale. And after that, we can start letting it set up on its own and go about our way. Alright everyone, so once it's done, it should pop up with a window like this saying that it had finished installing PostgreSQL. There's going to be a checkbox here to use the stack builder at the exit. You do not need to use this right now. It's not part of the tutorial. So we just go ahead and uncheck that and we'll click finish. Alright, now we can open up pgadmin and try to actually start applying some SQL and things like that. So it's going to be really fun, guys. So let's go ahead and launch up the application. pgadmin 4.1. Alright guys, we're in pgadmin 4, we've got PostgreSQL, our server set up, and we're ready to get going with learning a little bit of the basics of SQL and maintaining a database, tables, you name it. So in the next part, we're going to be covering those things and much more. So if you want to go ahead, you can click the video down below in the playlist and continue on, and I'll see you all in the next video. Let's get started with this, guys.